Ali Muhammad wa barik wa sallim innaka Hamidu Majid. As you know, in our previous class, we had discussed Battle of Uhud, and today, starting from page number 80, we will start the topic of encountering at Banu Mustalik. After the Battle of Uhud, there was a severe famine in Mecca. And we know how the Meccans treated the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam while he was in Mecca, and how they treated the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam while they were in Mecca. And they persecuted the Muslims, they persecuted the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then they boycotted the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Muslims for 2.5 years. And that year, um, the blessed wife of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, and his uncle. Um, so then Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when situation became unbearable, under divine guidance, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to migrate, and then they sent people after him. Then they sent army after him, and then the Battle of Badr took place. The Battle of Uhud took place. We know how the companions, they got wounded. Some companions also lost their lives, and even keeping all of that in mind, then the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually, uh, you know, raised some funds, and those funds were sent to poor people of Mecca to help them out. So this is, when we say the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been sent as a mercy for all the worlds. So this is just one glimpse of his mercy, that even the staunchest of enemies, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he showed mercy towards such an enemy. And this is one example where the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent money, raised funds, and sent money to help the poor people of Mecca. But the Meccans, they were the animosity against the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was of next level. And after their defeat in Badr, their ego was hurt, and Uhud also, their ego was hurt. They came to annihilate Muslim, and they could not do it. So their mission wasn't accomplished. So they were not impressed at all by even this kind and merciful gesture by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what they did was, there was a tribe called Banu Mustalik, um, and they had good relationship with Muslims, but these relationship started to deteriorate, because the other tribes, the Meccan tribes, who were also close to this tribe, they started um, um, you know um, uh, talking bad about Muslims and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and convincing them, so maybe they should uh, fight against Muslim. So when the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard that this is what's happening, and the Banu Mustalik is preparing for an attack against Muslims after the Battle of Uhud, and this, so Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent somebody to just recheck everything, whether this news has any fact to it or not. So the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent somebody. Person goes and checks out, and sees exactly what, and he reports exactly what he sees to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, he prepares a small contingent and goes to confront Banu Mustalik. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever This was the instruction of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whenever you approach an enemy who is bound upon to fight, first is to give them the message of peace. And this is exactly what the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did himself. But these tribesmen of Banu Mustalik, they were so convinced that they're gonna fight Muslim, and they refused for a peace negotiation, and they said, battles, we're gonna fight it out. So they started the battle, but it only lasted for a few hours, and Banu Mustalik was defeated. Now, after this defeat, the Meccans, they were enraged. They were not happy at all. So they started turning the other tribes, into a hostile tribe against Muslim, and also inciting sort of um, uh, um, hypocrites as well. So there is an incident that happens on the way back, as Muslims, they were camped out after winning this battle, and they were returning. Um, there was a small argument happened between the migrants and the helpers, the Muhajirin and Ansar. And a Meccan who was an ex-slave, or former slave, he struck an Ansar, or Medinite, and that's something that raised the alarm. The Medinites, or the Ansar, or the helpers, they said, "Oh, how dare somebody hits it like this?" And then it just one or two people, and then this and then the Ansar voices, people who are more aggressive, they started saying the same thing. Then, looking at the situation, there was this person, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, who is known as, in the history of Islam, as the chief of hypocrites. He took this opportunity. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. Uh, so Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul saw this opportunity to divide Muslim, and he gave a fiery speech, delivered a fiery speech, which sort of added fuel to the fire. And few young Muslims who were just enthusiastic and overcame emotions and took swords out. But of course, Muslim came to their senses, and nothing significant happened, and the matter was settled. Seeing this, how the elder companion took control of the situation, um, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul could not achieve his purpose, and he got really, really upset. And it is reported that he said that, "Let us return to Medina, then will the most honored among its citizen turn out the most despised one." Nauzubillah min zalik. So this is also referred in the Holy Quran as well. So and of course, Muslim heard it. The Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the news reached to the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So here, the most despised one he is referring to, Nauzubillah min zalik, the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So the news reached the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam called Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul and some of his friends, who were known as hypocrites, and asked them what had happened. And Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul and his friends completely deny that nothing of this sort has happened. But again, because he said this in front of so many people, the truth began to spread, and and it reached to his father, his son, Abdullah. And Abdullah um, did not like this. May Allah be pleased with him. And he came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "O Prophet of Allah, I know that my father has insulted you, and death is his punishment. And if the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam decides that he should be killed, he should be punished, then if he's my father, let me do this, please. Let me do this, because if you command someone else to do it, then my father will die at someone's hands, and I may, it may lead him to avenge his father's blood by killing that man. And he said, and I don't want to incur the displeasure of Allah the Almighty. So he insisted that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam should give him that instruction. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent as a mercy for all the worlds. And he said, I have no such intentions. So this is again the aspect of his raham, his mercy. But of course, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul's son, Hazrat Abdullah, was a companion who had immense love for the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he seeing the disloyalty of his father, seeing his discourteousness to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was of course enraged. And he saw on the other side the compassion and kindness of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he kept, as he was about to enter Medina, he confronted his dad. He confronted his father. He said that the lips which said the prophet is despised and you are honored must now say the prophet is honored and you are despised. Until you say this, I will not let you go. Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul was astonished and frightened to hear this, and he agreed. He said, I agree, my son, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is honored and I am despised. So this is something that happened while Muslims were returning from Banu Mustalik expedition. Now, so again, as I was mentioning, as these Muslims were returning, the defeat of the Banu Mustalik, and in Uhud, the Meccans could not achieve their purpose. So this hostility was really, really increasing, and things were boiling up big time. So they what they did was, what the Meccans started doing, or they started rallying and talking, going to different tribes and inciting them and encouraging them to get together, launch one last attempt to annihilate Muslim. And again, this was a preparation for Ghazwa Ahzab, or which is known as the Battle of Ditch. Um, it is known as Battle of Ditch because Muslim had dug up a ditch at the entrance of Medina, which we will talk about, but also Ahzab, because this is where these Meccans, lobbied with a lot of other Arab tribes and Jewish tribes to launch a final assault against the Muslim, and it's called Confederates. So all of these Confederates came together to launch one final attack. And Hazrat Muslim, may Allah be pleased with him, talks about that, how they rallied around, how they gather these tribes together to launch a final attack against the Muslims. So this is something that Hazur is speaking about. Now, it was a very difficult situation. We're talking about anywhere between 20 to 25,000 Confederate army coming upon, coming towards Medina, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, they are sitting and having a discussion on how best to approach this. So Hazrat Salman Farsi, may Allah be pleased with him, gave this idea. Salman the Persian, may Allah be pleased with him, he gave this idea that we should dig a grave at a strategic point, where at the entry point of Medina, so we could stop the army of the enemy behind that ditch. Um, so this was a tactic which was never used in Arabia. So they were not accustomed to it. So the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam agreed, and they decided to dig a ditch, which was almost a mile long and with considerable width and depth. So the place that was picked was the entry of Mecca. On one side there was the hill, so it gave a natural protection, and in the middle was ditch. On the other side there was stone houses and bush and whatnot, so that gave also another natural cover. And the last was from behind, which was towards the where the Jewish tribe was. Um, so that period, that place was fairly safe because of the fact that they had an agreement. We call the Treaty of Medina, that if anyone attacks from outside in Medina, the Muslim and Jews will fight together to repel that. So that sort of gave that cushion. Place was every Muslim was given a task to dig the ditch, and I believe it's Hazrat Muslim Maud somewhere here was mentioning that every 7 men would dig about 10 yards, and that's how they divided amongst themselves. Anyways, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also participated in this digging. Now there came a point when companions were in digging. As they were digging, they came across a rock which they were not able to break, and they went to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to seek his advice and guidance what they could do. And this was the custom of our of the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when they could not they were stuck with something, they would just go to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes there, and he with a pickaxe. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam strikes it once, and a spark comes out, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shouts out loud, "Allahu Akbar!" And then he struck again. Then another spark comes out. He says, "Allahu Akbar!" Then third time, same thing happens. And then the third time, the rock falls into fragments and whatnot. So the companions, they were actually surprised, and they asked the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives this explanation. Now he says, and I'll read this out: I struck this rock 3 times with this pickaxe, and the 3 times did I see scenes of the future glory of Islam revealed to me. In the first sparks, I saw the Syrian palaces of the Roman Empire. I had the keys of those palaces given to me. The second time I saw the illumined palaces of Persia at Madain, and the keys of the Persian Empire given to me. The third time I saw the gates of Sana, and I had the keys of the kingdom of Yemen given to me. These are the promises of God, and I trust you will put reliance in them. The enemy can do no harm. Now, imagine on one side there are 20 to 25,000 men of Confederate army are at the doorstep of Muslim, and they cannot really defend themselves. Muslims are only about 1,500. Now they could not really even defend themselves. Here the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam given this glad tiding of getting three kingdoms. Again, it goes to show that the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a true prophet of God. By giving these glad tidings, God, Allah the Almighty was not only mentioning that you will not only win this war against the Confederates, but you will be also given the kingdoms of the keys of the kingdoms of three huge kingdoms. Now, as the Muslims, they with limited manpower, they were able to dig the ditch, and here Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziallahu Anhu has talked about how Muslims were fighting this battle against heavy odds, because there's the huge army of the Confederates, about 20 to 25,000 men, well trained, well equipped. They came to annihilate Muslim. Then internal problems, which Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, the hypocrites, and his men, which were hypocrites, they were also they didn't want Muslims to win. Then they were the Jews of Banu Qurayza, who are also conspiring against the Muslims. So that's something Muslims had to face. Fight against all odds. I mean, the limited army, and then fighting at three fronts. At first, Banu Qurayza was, Muslim thought that, they were supposed to help Muslim out according to the treaty, but when they didn't come out to help, so the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent a small contingent of Muslims to protect the women and children of Medina, who were placed closer to the castle of the Banu Qurayza. So the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave them instruction that since this is a small contingent, after some time, repeatedly, they should say out loud, Allahu Akbar. When they would say Allahu Akbar, Muslims on the other side will know that Muslim women and children are safe. And if they don't hear anything from them after a regular interval, then it would mean that there is some trouble. So they will come to rescue them. So this was the fight that the Muslims were fighting against all odd. And then another thing that happened was that the Confederates, the army, they could not. They actually did not know what to do, because this was something they were not prepared to fight. When they saw a grave, so they camped themselves, and they were having discussion what needs to be done. So what they said, that what we could do is we could incite the Jewish tribe, who were in treaty with the Muslim, to attack from behind. So they sent one of their leaders and his name was Huy bin Akhtab, and he went to the Jewish fortress and spoke to the leader of Banu Qurayza. Initially, they were hesitant, and then they said, "Okay, we will only launch an attack when we hear that you have crossed the ditch and you have entered into Medina and you're fighting against Muslim. We will launch an attack here on the ladies." So that's what the agreement was between the Jewish tribe and the Confederates. The next part, inshallah, will cover in our next class. Jazakumullahu ta'ala asal jaza. I believe we don't have um, a quiz today. Do we have quiz today?
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम sir, we don't.
Okay, we don't. So we'll close it here on page 88. Inshallah, next week we'll start from 88, last paragraph onwards. Jazakumullah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.